Okay, in this module, I'm actually going to go through all of the components of the Nadex web platform. Along the top, you can see I'm in the demo account because I'm going to be placing orders. I can see my account. Now, if you click on this, you can actually go to your history. You can go to the last 24 hours. You can go last 6 hours. Either way you want, you can go. All you have to do is click on transactions and select the period. You can select the date, and you can also filter by the type of position that you had. You can also do the order history, the statements. You can fund your account directly. You can also change your settings. For example, I currently have the default contract size set to 5. I use limit orders to enter the market. Now you could also go to market orders. The only thing is, if the market jumps on you, of course your risk will jump as well. So I recommend that you leave it at limit GTC. You can allow multiple ticket panels, or you can just reuse the same ticket. And then of course you have your session inactivity. Now, for those of you that do not know, you can actually have the demo and the real account open at the same time. You just have to use 2 different browsers. So for example, you could use Google Chrome for one account and Mozilla Firefox for another account, and that allows you to have both of them open at the same time. That's the only way you can do that though. Now up here you see that you can deposit funds, you can filter the market, you can use the finder, you can use a watch list, and I'll show that to you in a moment. You can also get rid of the open positions and working orders by simply clicking on these little green tabs. You can also get to your order history as well as the charts. Most of these I will use is the open positions and the working orders, and I'll show you that in a few moments. I click on the finder, then I go to the forex binaries, and let's just say I wanted to enter a position on the USD JPY. Then I can just click on it. This is alphabetical, so I can actually find them quicker this way. So in this case, I'm going to click on the little chart here. That will give me the binary ladder chart. And what that is just a regular chart for Forex. And you can see I have a template that is set up, and it automatically puts my pivot level zone, automatically sets it to a 15-minute. And that's because I don't like setting up a chart every time I pull up a chart. So in this case, let's say that we wanted to add moving averages. We're going to just click on technical. We're going to click on moving averages, and you can see the default is 20, 50, 100. You can change these to anything you want. If you uncheck one, it takes that particular moving average off. So we're going to just leave them there for the time being. And you can see that I have changed this particular layout. So what you can do is click on layout, and you can say save, and you can give it a name such as save new, and we're going to call it moving average with pivots, and then we can save it. So the next time we bring up a chart, we can either apply the moving average with pivots, or we can just select the one that's named Gale, which just has pivots on it. Over here on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that we have our strike prices. Now this is where knowing your strike widths would be beneficial to you, because if you notice you have 34 to 50. Well, I know for a fact that the USD JPY has a strike width of 4 pips. So if I just simply click on these red and blue boxes, that actually expands the strike prices. So in this case, to enter a buy order, we simply click on buy at the strike price that we want. You can see that my default size is 5, and it's picking up the offer price here. Notice that it's not changing, and that's because it's picking up the one that was available when I clicked on buy. But for example, if I wanted to change the price because it's went down and I could save $4 or $5, I just click on it and then say place order. Now notice that you do have your maximum loss and your maximum profit for that number of contracts. Since I am going long, I already know that my risk is whatever is under the offer price. And sometimes you have to continue to click that. You also see we have a red box here that's telling me I'm losing money on the position, but it also says +5 over here, and this tells me I am long. This tells me I'm down 30 bucks. So if I want to actually see the open position, all I have to do is go to open positions, and it is displayed here. Now I can put in a profit target. Let's say that I entered the order, but now I have to run out to the store. Well, I could put a profit target here, and this is the way I do most of my trades. I don't let them expire. I just simply put in a profit target, and I simply click place order. Now if we click on the working orders, you can see my open position on the USD JPY is at 101.34, and I have a working order that corresponds to that at 80. So another thing that you can do, instead of having both of these windows and you're messing around with two windows, is simply drag one into the other, and all you do is left click, drag it down into the other window. In this case it was the open positions, and release it. So now you can just have tabs and go back and forth between the two. To me that just seems a little bit easier. When you want to exit your position, in other words, I don't like this order right now, it's going down and I think it's going to go against me. The best way to do that is using the button here that says 5+ above, or simply click on the gray, which is your order. Now I'm going to do it using the +5 above because I want to show you what happens when you do that. So I'm just going to say, okay, I want out of this position. But notice that you still have this working order, so you have to cancel that working order. And you do that by clicking on delete remainder. So now we have the chart window still open, and I just want to show you some things about the chart window that you may not know. This just scrolls the amount of data that is displayed on the chart. So we can go from really small to really big price bars. You can also zoom in or zoom out using the buttons down here. We can print it, and we can even go in and set the chart settings, which just simply says, do you want to see the horizontal grid? No, I don't. Do I want to see the show vertical grid? No, I don't. Show the current price. Show price data tooltips. If you don't want that, you just simply click it off, and then you can see I don't get that box everywhere now. Now if this is the layout that you like, again, go back up here and save your layout. and you can just do save as moving average with the pivots and save. And of course, now let's say we go over to the US CAD. Let's choose 11 o'clock, bring up the window, and you can see it's now loading without all of those lines on it. I have my moving averages and I have my pivot lines. Okay, so right now you can see I've got the pivots and the moving average. One of the reasons to save the templates would be if you're using multiple time frames. For example, let's just say that we wanted to trade the euro dollar. If we click on the 6 to 8 a.m. expiration, we get the market list, and I'm just going to scroll down until I find the one that's closest to 50, which is the 1174, and I'm going to click on the binary ladder chart. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, and this will give me two charts. So here I have a 1 hour, and over here I'm going to put it on a 15-minute. You also see I just have the pivot lines over on the 1 hour, and on the 15-minute I also just have pivot lines. So in this case over here on the 15-minute, I'm going to actually apply the moving average with pivots. So now you see that we have the daily pivots, and if we wanted to take them off, we would just click and use the trash can, but in this case I'm not going to. Now we have the pivot lines on, and again you see that price is trading up here at 1173. Now let's go back and let's just see where we want to go on this. As you can see, we're up at the R1 level. Typically that means that price is going to come down. So again, make sure you're expanding your options over here. Now remember, if you're selling, this is counting down from 100. So in this case I would have $41 of risk, and I'm just going to go ahead and sell that one because I believe, this is my belief, it's going to come down from the R1 level on the 1 hour chart. And again, to put in an order, I would just simply click here. Now this is the key, we're going down from 100. So do not put an $80 or $90 profit target in. Instead, go close to zero. In this case, I'm just going to do $10, and that's going to be where my working order is. So in this case, I've got my open position, and then I have the working order, which is actually works as a limit order. And if price reaches here and there's adequate buyers in the market, then I will be taken out. In this case, I would have to buy, it tells me +5, so I have to have a buyer that's willing to buy at the $10 mark. Now to get rid of this line here, we just simply click on the X. We can also do drawings. For example, I could do a trend line, I could do a vertical line, and we'll just do a vertical line to say, okay, this is where we entered at. We could do point to point, we could do horizontal, we could do a Fibonacci. All of those options are available. I tend to use TradeStation for all of my analysis, so I don't use that portion of it very much. You can change the market here sometimes, and you can see it right now where it's not allowing me to expand my window. Sometimes that does happen with this version, so I'm going to need to refresh real quick and then I'll be back. Now I just want to show you what happens when you refresh the screen. This is what happens. You get back to your original screen. So I need to go to the finder, I need to find the euro dollar, and the 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. expiration. We can just bring a chart window up from here. This is a 15-minute. And you can see that my working orders, I need to combine that again. One of the reasons it's doing this is because I'm recording, so let's do that again because I want a 60-minute next to it. And this is what's just called trading multiple time frames. And what you want to do is be going into a move that's coming off of your higher time frame. Now notice that we are at the strike price 1170, but neither one of our charts are showing us our profit or loss. Again, you have to click and expand your strike prices so that you can see that. Now there are some that do not want to see their profit or loss from this window. You can actually, under orders, you can say, don't show me my open positions, don't show me the working orders. I actually prefer to have them on the chart. You can also manage your positions down here. So for example, if I took both of those off, I could still manage my position down here under the open orders and the working orders. It just seems like it's easier to do everything from the actual chart itself. Now they also have watch list, and they're listed down here as well. And you can see they have all the master spreads, the daily energy, forex, indices. I do not use these very much because, again, I know that under the finder I can find everything in alphabetical order, and I typically know exactly which market I'm going to go into. Okay, you can see that we were correct, that it was bouncing off of the R2 line, and this is typical, and you'll learn it in the next couple of courses. Just having your pivot lines with some moving averages on there actually is very beneficial, and you can trade. You can see that this was a bar that made a high, and then it closed down here in the middle, but it's a very, very large bar. So because that is a large bar, I would anticipate it probably to come back at least halfway. You've got 2 bars there, so it should come back to about 1162 is my expectation. And again, to drag the chart, you can drag it just about anywhere you want. All you have to do is left click while you're on the chart and drag it up, drag it down, drag it just about anywhere you want it. Now, if you remember, we added this vertical line here. If I click on that, I can delete it. I can also change the color. There's a lot of options within these charts. You can also expand the chart and put it on another monitor. You can expand it just within this window, or you can simply close it by clicking here. There are times where I will expand it and put it off on another screen. Unfortunately, you wouldn't see it if I did it. Now that really is an overview of most of the stuff that you can actually do with the Nadex web platform. The big thing to remember in this, through all of this, if you want to exit this position, let's say that, we didn't like the way this price bar was forming, make sure that you use your working order and then just modify it. And to modify it, you see that you're short, so that tells you, okay, I need to buy in order to exit this position. Now, if you do not do that, then what's going to happen is you will still have your working order sitting there. Sometimes it will get filled, I know from experience. The other thing is, and I'm just going to see, I'm going to sell here, and I'm going to do 4 contracts. and I'm going to sell, which is I'm going under the bid. Now if I want to exit, and that means I would have to buy, if I click here, notice that it's 5 positions. Now this is substantial because what happens is if I decide to buy here, I've got 4 positions on. So if I buy, this is what happens. I now have 1 position. And the reason is because I used the button over here. And to exit the trade, that's the difference. I was exiting a trade. And because I was exiting the trade, it went to my default size, which was actually larger than what my order was in the market. So those two are not correlated. This is why you either use your working orders or your open positions tab, or you just do it straight from the chart. Those are the biggest mistakes that I've made and other traders have made using the platform.